Art can be a very powerful tool for creators, artists, humans to process things that might be inside them but have difficulty being expressed.
The power of public art is about creating a space where art can, in its most pure form, be reached by as many people as possible.
I started thinking more and more about the opportunity that public art has to, rather than wait for people to come to you or try and entice people to come to you or pay to come to you, you can bring it out to a larger audience.
There's an element of chance there that's really exciting to me, because I think that allows for these synchronistic moments where you're like, I didn't know I needed that message, but there it was on the wall, written in big letters, and it helped me in some strange way.
I really like to create experiences for people to be fully immersed in, and for them to be able to make choices about what they want to do or what they want to see or how they want to engage with the art.
I think about art that's possible for everyday people to do as being an area of creation research that I think needs a renaissance, because so many people think of, I'm not an artist, I couldn't do that. It's taken me 2 years to research a way to create a piece of work that can be done incrementally over time, so that it can be possible for people with busy work schedules, who are parents, who might be working too many jobs, to be able to still be part of the creative process.
Finding ways to connect with people who are outside my small world has just been a struggle and an opportunity to be like, well, what does that mean for my work, and how does that change the form of my work, or does it change the form of my work?
So my work aims to eliminate the fourth wall. It aims to acknowledge you are here, I am here, this is happening right now, and I need your help to make this happen. I need your ideas, I need your bodies, I need you.
The energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it, and the glow from that fire can truly light the world.
Free Speech Karaoke is an interactive public art project where people can recite famous American speeches in the style of karaoke. And so for this version of Free Speech Karaoke, I'm using past presidential speeches. I think a lot of this is reasserting ownership and the opportunity for people to step into the shoes of powerful people and say the words that they once said, but in their own voice. I wanted a variety of topics, and I wanted some that were recognizable phrases that people could be like, oh, I know that speech, or from a particular moment. This project for me, it's kind of bittersweet.
You said the time has come to tell the lobbyists, think their money and their influence speak louder than their voices, that they don't own this government. We do.
It's just, wow, that is really beautiful to listen to, but things are still the same 50 years later, and we're still struggling with the same things and using the same words.
What I need is for you to step up in moments, to be brave, to be vulnerable, to be awkward, and to have fun. So can y'all allow yourselves to experience some art?
Yeah.
How do we make more fluid the ways in which we move in the world, and we move with each other? How do we create a different way of giving and accepting permission to engage? My body contains a lot of things, I'm a son, I'm an artist, but I'm also a queer person of color. And in my work, I've really struggled to figure out, how do I make tangible, how do I make visible, how do I use that subject material to make compelling work that's also accessible? And so I decided that the best way to do that was to use myself as a vehicle for the work, even if it was a fictional version of myself.
It is an experiment in art, yeah. It's an experiment in time travel, what? It's an experiment in community building, duh.
Audiences are asked questions and they sign up for roles. They have no idea what they might be doing. I tell them, you're gonna be my mother. They have no idea what that means.
Molly comes forward and she starts with a grand poem and she's gesticulating wildly and she's talking about the trees and the gears and the oil and the blood.
It's so amazing to see how brave people are, how open and willing they are to take a risk on something that could be totally embarrassing or traumatic or weird or uncomfortable or whatever. You know, they like make the little leap that it takes to say yes.
What I really wanted to talk about is the cycle and what happens when you're cut off from your roots. Sacred Garden, I'm calling an outdoor performance art experience. An experience because it's not your typical sort of theater where there's a script and you're led through a linear narrative that has a beginning and an ending. It's really a journey. Part of the underlying purpose of this piece is to give each person their own permission to create what feels right to them and developing a relationship with their own intuition.
Know how to move through this world without my grandma, and if my grandma is sick, then what does that mean about my mother and her health?
And I put out a call, an audition, particularly looking for mothers and women in different phases of life, elder, younger, working, different gender identities, as well as women of color whose stories are often underrepresented. I told each of the women at the onset, you'll have 3 to 5 minutes to tell your story. Whatever that is, using your own movements and your own body. The audience is led from story to story. The story might change every single show, depending on what the performer is feeling that night. I'm working with women who are at all levels of theatrical experience, and all of them are pushing themselves. And this is stretching all of our comfort zones. And I think that is part of the point, is to reclaim ourselves as creators.
The arts are really fond of talking about being a place where this is where community happens and where community is made. And I sort of don't buy it, because people are sitting in a dark room, not talking to each other, watching the same thing. I'm really interested in creating access with an outward gesture. How can I take what I do and bring it to people? How can I bring it to their front door? How can I bring it to the park that's right next to them? How can I create as low a barrier as possible for someone to be able to have an experience with art that could change their life?